Right now we're inserting the back bracket of the two-piece bracket for the tilt wheel. On the tilt wheel also has the shift lever for shifting through the gears on a 2003 Tundra, any Tundra from 2000 to 2005, also Sequoias. Toyota wanted to make it hard for you. They designed it. Very complicated. Very complicated. Haynes manual, don't try to look in there. For some odd reason the Haynes manual only shows you how to take off the steering wheel and the clock spring, the airbag, and then it jumps straight to taking out the steering wheel column, and it doesn't even address, like the tilt wheel box or the shifter. So you might have to call Haynes manual, but they'll still have to send you something on email. Usually takes them a day or two. So there's 4 external torque or external star pattern sockets. What's that? In a star pattern sockets. Two on top, 2 on bottom.
Don't go to Ace Hardware for them.
Yeah, don't go to Ace. It's like $40 for a set of 7 of them. So for a one-time application, no reason I'm paying $40. There are torque specifications for each one of these in your Haynes manual, but we're too lazy to refer to that. Tied them down pretty well. Once it gets tight, like my colleague here is doing, only turn maybe about a quarter to another, probably at most a half turn once it gets extremely tight. You don't want to over torque it.
Okay.
Now we're going to put on the front bracket that also houses the spring, and also will house the on the outside of it the shifter to shift through the gears. Right now he's trying to get the steering shaft back into the universal, the U-joint. You want to go ahead and explain exactly what you're doing down there, since we can't exactly see what you're doing?
When taking this unit apart, you will have this, and your first thought will be to hammer the shaft through the bearing housing, but that is a bad idea. We simply disconnected the shaft, which you will see underneath, connected to the steering rack universal joint, and pulled the entire unit out.
So the shaft's down there.
Right now it's just reconnecting the shaft. It's reconnected, and next step. Alright, this is the spring used for the tension of the tilt steering wheel.
Yeah.
This will go underneath this tilt steering wheel, and we found that the easiest way to reinstall this would be to put the spring in before attaching the housing by simply pushing down on it like so. Alright, this is a hinge pin for this bearing assembly / tilt steering wheel assembly. Note that it has a threaded hole in the inside, and I'll show you more about that later. Right now we're reinstalling this. You simply place it into the hole, it'll push in halfway. I'm using a punch and a hammer to gently hammer it back in place.
Now remember, you want to go a little bit past flush so you can crimp down the sides of the aluminum. It's very soft aluminum. They should have designed it better.
Now, to remove this is actually required to have a slide hammer, which we didn't have, so we improvised. I simply took a small screw, hardened steel,
The same pitch and diameter.
screwed into the hinge pin. Just for reference, screw it in as much as you possibly can. You will have to use a Allen wrench in this case. And what I did, I put the flat bar against it and simply hit the bottom. And you have to hit it with good enough pressure to quickly pop that pin out of there.
Now when you take it off the car, each one of these sides right here, I'll try to zoom in a little bit farther or a little closer to it. You can see that they're slightly, not the best focusing, but you can see that they're slightly indented a little bit. When the hinge pin was inside there, initially they were pressed down slightly on the sides on each side of it to keep that hinge pin from backing out. You have to take a flathead screwdriver or something similar, and you have to kind of push that soft aluminum back. So when you try to pull it out by putting the screw inside of it and using the slide hammer, it'll pull out fairly easily, more easily than if you didn't do that.
We'll keep that in there because aluminum is so soft and smash it out so easily.
Right now he's putting the little indentions back around each one of the little hinge pins on the new plate that we had put in the new bracket. This is just to ensure that the hinge pins do not back out.
Can you zoom in on that?
I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer. It's not the best, but we can see a little bit of a marking there. It's not in focus, but that's what happens when you have autofocus.